The LEGO Castle theme is returning once again, and this time we're stepping into the villainous side with the Outlaw Forest Inn, home of the Wolfpack faction. By the designer who brought us the Viking Village, this set will be available soon officially from LEGO on Bricklink. Deep in the heart of the forest, beyond the King's Reach, lies the Outlaw Forest Inn. The tower is a weathered remnant of older times, now claimed by outlaws who use the forest's dense canopy as natural cover. Below, the hidden cave serves as their true base of operations, complete with treasures, defenses, and escape routes. That is the lore and inspiration for this set by the designer, and it fits perfectly into the world of LEGO Castle, bridging the Lion Knights with their eternal rivals, the Wolfpack Bandits. What I like about this design is that it not only honors the legacy of Wolfpack sets from the early 90s, but also finally gives them their own main base of operations instead of just small little impulse buy sets. The set comes in at 2,617 total pieces, with 573 unique parts, and includes 7 stickers and 10 minifigures and multiple animal molds. For the size and detail, that's a really solid piece count, and it's clear the designer put a lot of thought into maximizing play features without blowing up the scale unnecessarily. It comes to about 9 cents per piece, which is right in line with non-IP owned LEGO sets. Now on the outside, the set strikes a perfect balance between natural rockwork and medieval architecture. The stone tower looks rugged and time-worn, which fits the Outlaw aesthetic perfectly, especially with the black color. Remember, these are the Wolfpack factions, so they're less organized or involved in town life than, say, the Lion Knights or Black Falcons, but a bit higher class than the Forestmen. I really like how the tower goes up above the trees, almost like a watchtower hidden in plain sight. The forest element is dense and atmospheric, with one of the trees having a hinge that can actually be toppled over to block the path for ambushes, which is a great callback to the mischievous trickster style of Wolfpack lore. The cave entrance has a functional portcullis, which immediately sells the idea that this isn't just some abandoned ruin, it's actually an active fort that the Wolfpack built. From the outside alone, it captures that sense of danger and secrecy, which is exactly what a Wolfpack set should feel like. I like the use of these pieces to make it look like they're cut down logs and sharpened the tops of them to keep people from climbing over or whatnot. I believe in the lore of actual forts, they're called palisades, and I really like them. You've got a lot of wildlife and different plant species scattered all around, and I also really love that the stored boxes of gold and jewels and treasure are just outside the entrance. It feels like they've just offloaded a bunch of loot and are currently working on getting it inside or something. You also get this little wagon build for the Lion Knights that goes along with it, and I know it pays homage to an old set, but there's something about the blue that just doesn't look appealing to me. I am glad though that you get the Queen's shield and 2 different colored horses. Once you start opening the model up, the details really begin to add up. The tower and rocks are modular, so there are removable sections that make it easy to access the inside and swing open the base. So moving room by room, here at the bottom, we've got this room that looks like it would be the armory with a nice selection of weapons and helmets. And I'm very happy to see the inclusion of bows down here as well. At the back of the room, it also looks like there's a little hidden rock wall door that might open up, but we'll have to wait and see until we get our hands on it in person. Moving up above that, it looks like we've got this bedroom that I'm going to say is the leader of my Wolfpack faction. He's got a bit of gold in there, and I really love that they didn't go with the generic well-made bed design, and instead you get this like half-covered blanket on this wooden bed frame. Really goes with the rough lifestyle of the Wolfpack. And up above that in the attic, we can't forget the little mouse with his cheese. Moving to the middle, you've got the gear that raises and lowers the portcullis, which technically is the other half of the leader's bedroom, and you can also see that there is possibly a writing table in back with a quill. Then above that, you've got the ladder that leads to the lookout tower with a bird nest. Now, one thing I want to mention that I really appreciated with the Lion Knights Castle was how each and every room was, in theory, accessible with pathways or ladders or stairs, even if the minifigures themselves didn't fit through. I know the set has less pieces to work with here, but even if it's just a simple ladder, it is something I really appreciate in seeing with these dollhouse style sets. Now this is the entrance just inside the side door, and I really don't understand where this leads into the castle when it's closed, because it looks like it just kind of goes to a dead end here, but perhaps we don't have a good perspective of it from this angle. Then moving down, this is the treasure room that connects over to just inside the portcullis entry. You've got an eating table and some barrels for drinks and food. You've got the different stool designs going with whatever they come across in their travels, probably. At least that's what I imagine from my fantasy. But also you've got this wanted Wolfpack sign, which kind of harkens to the medieval town square wanted sign, and I just assume whenever they're out and come across signs, they rip them down and bring them back here as trophies or whatnot. As for the minifigures, the lineup here is excellent. You get 8 Wolfpack Outlaws, which is basically an army in one box, along with 2 Lion Knights to serve as their opposition. On top of that, we got 2 wolves that came with the CMF series Wolfpack member, and we get 2 horses, a bird, a squirrel, and that mouse. I love that they went all in on the Wolfpack here, because so often we just get 1 or 2 of them as side characters, and having a whole squad really makes us feel like a proper outlaw stronghold. And the amount of dual-moded legs and weapons we get accompanying them is very welcomed. We get crossbows and varying melee weapons, even all the different hair pieces and hoods. It looks so good to me because it gives the sense that these really are just a bunch of townsfolk that have fallen out of society and turned to the only group that will accept them. When comparing this to other LEGO Castle Factions bases we've had in the past, it stands out as one of the best outlaw-themed builds we've ever gotten. The original Wolfpack Tower was small and charming for its time, but this is that idea blown up to modern standards, of course. It feels like a natural companion to sets like the Lion Knight's Castle or Forestman Hideout. It's also worth noting that while Lion Knight's Castle is massive and grand, this set thrives in being more compact and devious. It doesn't try to compete in scale in terms of the Lion Knight's Castle, which my shelf space certainly appreciates, and is something I think the Forestman Castle in previous Bricklink wave stepped a bit too out of its lane in. The Lion Knight's Castle should be the supreme castle, with all other factions sort of dwarfing them to an extent, but that's just simply for my castle fantasy. Based on the part count, unique parts, and minifigure lineup, the set is priced at $229, which is about 9 cents per piece. Considering the play features, modular build, and sheer number of Wolfpack figures included, as well as printed Wolfpack shield designs, that feels pretty fair. Especially including the dual-moded legs and the accessories and animals we get, I really can't complain about this price. The Outlaw Forest End feels like a dream set for Wolfpack fans. It captures the sneaky, rebellious spirit of the faction and updates it with all the modern building techniques and details we've come to expect. I think it works well both as a display piece or as a playset, even though I personally would just assume there be no play features or interiors, and just put those assets to the exterior. It's there for those who actually do play with their sets. Personally, I love that this set leans into being an environmental piece rather than just a fortress or castle. It fills a gap that we don't usually see covered, and my only hesitation is, if I had to nitpick, is that its size might make it a bit tricky to display next to some of the smaller vintage sets without it overshadowing them. But on its own, or paired with the Lion Knight's Castle, it's a fantastic piece, but I'm so happy that it breathes new life into the Wolfpack faction. Anyways, that's going to do it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.